So I'm with this fantastic young man. What's your name? We just bumped into each other.
I'm Eugene Gamble.
Eugene
Gamble.
Gamble.
As in Las Vegas.
Gamble.
That's the one.
And is that your industry? Casinos?
By name, but not by nature.
What's your industry?
I'm a property investor.
A property investor.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. This is. I meet so many property investors today. Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone if they wanted to get into it, but they wanted to, make themselves unique?
That's a very good question. I guess what you have to do is identify a particular niche, explore that niche, and once you have identified something that you think that you can excel at, then I think that would differentiate you to the vast majority. Most people just go for the vanilla type property investing, so find a niche and exploit it.
So do you mind me asking, what's your niche?
Well, what I do is I actually source all over the US. I'm not confined to a particular area, and that's unique in that most people are told to concentrate on one area, know it like the back of your hand.
Right.
While I cast a wider net, I use a lot of other people partnering, and basically I don't confine myself to one type of property or one type of strategy. Therefore,
right.
I can get the best of most worlds.
Okay. When you're sourcing or looking for property, what are the indicators that you're looking for so that people can essentially make money when they buy the property?
Yeah, I mean, the old adage of is that you make money when you buy, and that certainly holds true. What we do is we look at the numbers and we look at the comparables, and if they stack up, then obviously we'll go forward with that type of investment.
People always say we look at the numbers, but that's just such a big question. I mean, what numbers are you looking at?
Okay, well, what you're looking at is you're looking at the current resale value in its as-is state. We look at that because you don't know what's going to happen, and if you had to sell that in a fire sale, you want to know roughly what your downside risk is. Once you have that, then obviously the usuals, which are how much is it going to cost to renovate, what is the eventual cost once you have renovated it, and importantly, how long do you think it's going to stay on the market before it's going to get sold? Because you can buy a place, do it up, but if you're holding on to that for a long time, then you're in an equity trap there where you have bought something that you can't sell for a number of months, if not years.
So in the UK, we've suffered from one of those traps because of Brexit. So a lot of people had purchased a property, mm-hmm.
which
is on the numbers looks very good, but now it's not selling as fast as the comparables said.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, you have to look at the market, and there have been changes. You mentioned the Brexit and other market factors. I think in general you'll be safe with UK property. It's been shown that every 7 to 10 years the property prices double. So if you can hang on, then obviously you do that. I'm more focused on the United States because you can have one state that's not going through a good patch, but then you can shift your focus to another one.
Sure. So if I can get the great lessons the sharing things you've been saying us is one, find some way to differentiate yourself.
Mm-hmm. Identify a niche.
And identify your niche. When you're looking at properties, look at the cost of how much it would be to resell very quickly in case there's a problem,
mm-hmm.
so that you're not caught in an equity trap.
Exactly.
And then moving forward, look at the cost of the renovation and how much you could now sell it on for later on.
Yeah, they're the basic ones. Obviously, you go into a little bit more detail depending on your property type and the strategies. But I think if you stick to the fundamentals, some of which we've mentioned, you should be okay.
And what is the minimum you want to get on what's the minimum profit? So after renovation that you're looking at?
Well, we're looking at things that are 30% below market value.
Right.
What we want to do, it's not just a case of the percentage, because as I say, there's a time factor, and if you can do it a number of times, then we can look at a lower return on investment, because we know that we can do it 2-3 times when compared to a different type of property. So it really does depend on time factors and financial factors.
So if you could make 50% on a property, that's great. But if you can make 15%, that's fantastic.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eugene. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, then maybe I will be sensitive now because it's about my mother. She comes from Hungary. She ran away with my father because he was in the resistance for